This video is to give you some information about the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, also known as SINP. This is going to be a long one, so sit back and listen. Saskatchewan is made up of prairies, lakes, and rolling skies. It has two major cities, Regina and Saskatoon. If you're looking to immigrate to this province, you can apply under one of the following categories if you are found eligible. The first one is International Skilled Worker. Employment offer stream requirements. You may qualify for this subcategory if you live outside Canada or have proof of legal status in Canada, are not a refugee claimant, and score at least 60 points on the SINP point assessment grid, have at least 1 year work experience in the past 10 years in your intended occupation, have a language score of at least Canadian Language Benchmark CLB4, be eligible for Saskatchewan licensing if your intended occupation is in a regulated profession or a compulsory apprenticeship trade, have an offer for a permanent full-time job in Saskatchewan. There is no specific list of jobs, but your offer must be in an occupation in the National Occupational Classification tier level 0, 1, 2, or 3, or in a designated trade in Saskatchewan. However, please note that these are the following exclusions: food and beverage servers. If that is your category, you can apply under the hospitality sector project subcategory or the hard to fill skills pilot. You just cannot apply under the international skilled worker. Only those with high skilled health occupations eligible for the international healthcare worker pool can apply to this subcategory. Other health professionals will need to apply to the Saskatchewan Experience Health Professionals subcategory. If you are applying under NOC 33102, then you may be eligible for the Hard to Fill Skills Pilot. And for more information on that, you can Google HFS Pilot. Number 2 is the Tech Talent Pathway. You may qualify for this subcategory if you live outside Canada or have proof of legal status in Canada and you cannot be a refugee claimant. You must also have the following experience requirements. If applying from within Saskatchewan, you must currently be working in Saskatchewan and have worked 6 months of full-time work experience in the job with the same employer that has provided you with the job approval letter. The work experience does not need to be consecutive work experience in either case. If you have not been working for your supporting employer full-time for at least 6 months, then you must have at least 1 year of work experience in your occupation within the last 5 years. If you're applying from inside or outside of Canada, 1 year of high-skilled related work experience in the past 5 years in your intended eligible occupation. You must meet the following language requirements. If you're currently working for an employer offering you the job, meet the language requirements established by your employer in your job offer. Your employer will be assessing your language ability. If you're not currently working for an employer offering you the job, the English or French language ability of the Canadian Language Benchmark must be 5 or higher. You must be eligible for Saskatchewan licensing if your applicable occupation is NOC 21311, which is computer engineer, NOC 21231, software engineers and designers, NOC 21211, data scientists, and NOC 21310, electrical and electronics engineers. And if you're any of those occupations, you must provide a letter from the Association of Provincial Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan, showing that an application for registration as an engineer in training has been approved, or provide a letter from them indicating that they have been assigned confirmatory exams. You have to have a post-secondary education that relates to the job you've been offered. Attest to your intent to work and reside in Saskatchewan. Have an offer for an eligible permanent full-time technology or innovation sector job in Saskatchewan. You will need a valid SINP job approval letter to show proof. Employers must register with the SINP and obtain the job approval letter. They will then provide the job approval letter to you if you meet their hiring qualifications. Check the website for a list of occupations that are eligible. Number 3 is the International Skilled Worker Hard to Fill Skills Pilot eligibility. That is a mouthful. You must have at least 1 year of full-time work experience in the past 3 years in your intended occupation, or 6 months of full-time work experience in the job with the employer that has provided you with your job approval letter. Have a language score of at least a Canadian language benchmark of 4. Have completed secondary school or higher level education. Have an SINP approved offer for a permanent full-time job in Saskatchewan. You will need a valid SINP job approval letter from your employer to show proof. The job offer must be in one of the occupations listed on our website. This pilot is not available to employers hiring home support workers, caregivers, and related occupations who reside in the client's residence or their place of work. Employers seeking workers to reside in the client's residence or their place of work must utilize Canada's caregiver programs for recruitment. Number 4, International Skilled Worker, the occupations in demand eligibility. To be eligible, you must pay a non-refundable $350 application fee online by Visa or MasterCard. It is the last step in order to submit your application, and you may qualify for this program if you live outside of Canada or have proof of legal status in Canada, and of course are not a refugee claimant. Score a minimum of 60 out of the 110 on the SINP point assessment grid. Have a language score of at least 4. Have completed post-secondary education, training, or apprenticeship that's comparable to that in Canada. For education outside of Canada, you must submit an Education Credential Assessment, an ECA. Individuals who have completed trades or job training as part of their high school education must instead apply for Saskatchewan licensure. You must have work experience that is high skilled and not on the excluded occupation list. You must have a minimum of 1 year paid work experience in a skilled occupation over the last 10 years in your related field of education. Your work experience must be in a high skilled occupation tier 0, 1, 2, or 3 that is considered to be in demand in Saskatchewan at the time of your application. Please see the Occupations in Demand and Express Entry Occupation Requirements for more information. Your work experience must be related to your occupation and education. You may need to provide proof of professional status or eligibility for licensure. And lastly, you must have proof of settlement funds and a settlement plan. Again, for more information and details on the SINP or any of the other PNP programs, please check out our website.